Hello students, this is exercise number 23 of the Progressive Monthly Magazine November 2021 on the speed of 100 words per minute. Start. It is at a level where there is a segment of our population which has not been able to benefit from the benefits of that growth process, and therefore when the president's address very enthusiastically mentions phrases of great achievements which have helped those sectors, the hard reality is that sector is still underprivileged. There is also another segment which is an aspirational India where the aspirations are larger and understandably so, and therefore this mandate also reflects on the government desire and the electorate desire to really perform as far as these areas are concerned. Sir, I had said in the beginning as to what role we intend to play. In any Westminster system, the conventional role of the opposition is to oppose. But in evolving and maturing democracy, this role has also evolved, and therefore, as I said, our principal object when we will be guided by national interest is how to strengthen the country. We have to strengthen this country in terms of making its borders secure. We have to strengthen this country in fighting terror within the country. We have to strengthen this country in our endeavor to help the government so that it can vanish all forms of poverty and sufferings. We have to strengthen this country by even pursuing the goal of social justice. Now, these are several areas of strengthening the country. One of the principal desires of an aspirational India is to become a developed economy by 2020. Now, in each of these endeavors, there are areas where we will support the government. There are areas where we will caution the government, and there are certain areas where we will be required to fiercely oppose the government. And when I read and when I heard the Honorable President's address, I was a little disappointed on one score. I did expect a mention, an emphatic mention, of the manner in which racial attacks are being carried out against persons of the Indian origin in Australia. Now, this is something which is very current and contemporary, and any sensitive government which says with a sense of pride that we have millions of Indians in our diaspora living abroad and living all over the world would have been concerned with the plight of the Indian community, which is being subjected to such inhuman and racial attacks. I think it is an oversight as far as the address is concerned. When I read the address, I also read my party's manifesto, and I have no hesitation in saying that there are several areas which are of common national cause for the entire political community. Our roads may be different, but the ultimate destination is really the same, and therefore the emphasis which the President's address has given on achieving a high growth and a low inflation, I think, is something on which we will stand solidly behind the government. The President's address in terms of the desire of the government to legislate the Food Security Act so that the impoverished people in India living below the poverty line can have the benefit of 25 kilograms of food grains at affordable prices is an inherent path of the right to food. And we do believe that this right to food, as a large number of liberal economists says, is a populist scheme. This free distribution of rice or cheaper distribution of rice or wheat is a burden on the exchequer, but in the political community, since we are directly concerned with the plight of people who suffer, this is, in fact, far from populism. It is a right of food and the benefit of the government resources, the exchequer reaching the weakest man, and therefore, in states which have been implementing, particularly Chhattisgarh, now I am told Odisha has also started it. It has worked very effectively. And if the government brings this, really implements this right to food, I have not the least doubt in saying that we, in the opposition, would strongly stand behind the government in implementing this across the country. As for the determination which the government has ostensibly expressed for having a zero tolerance as far terrorism is concerned, my party had occasionally felt in the last 5 years that the government was soft on terror, and we were amongst people who were considered as those who really stand by this phrase, zero tolerance on terror. Accusations were hurled at us. I am not going to say for a moment that it is my ideological victory or my party's ideological victory that you have been compelled to use the same language after 2611 which we have been using. But if the government really effectively implements this zero tolerance towards terror, there is no reason why we will not stand behind the government while this is done. Sir, the one rank, one pension issue was raised by us in our manifesto. The government had said that they would examine it. I would seriously urge the government to not merely examine it, but also to concede to this demand.